Lucy Greer is live with us this morning. You're making mushroom soup.
We are, and when I unloaded all my stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, did I bring everything? There's not many ingredients, but this soup has a ton of flavor, and of course with the chillier weather.
Yeah.
And I know y'all are doing the new you and 22, and so I wanted to do kind of a soup that is a little bit lighter, which is nice, but it is really rich in flavor, so you feel like that you're eating something kind of bad for you, but it's really good. So we're gonna make a creamy mushroom soup today, and I have my soup pot right here, and so I'm gonna add a tablespoon of olive oil, and I have it over medium-high heat, and already chopped up right here. I have, you can't see them because we're on the bottom. I was like, I'm
just onions.
Like, I'm not getting another bowl. I've already gotten this one dirty. So yeah, I have a small onion here, and I have a couple ribs of celery that I chopped up, and then I'm using 2 kinds of mushrooms. I'll start pouring it in, and we can see them.
Okay.
I just used the little cremini mushrooms, the ones that are a little bit darker brown. Those are baby portobellos, and then I just used some white mushrooms. So I used 1 pack, which is 8 ounces of the creminis, and then I used the bigger pack of the white button mushrooms. So it's 1.5 pounds of mushrooms, and I just chopped them up kind of small, because we're just going to saute all this together. And like I said, I have it over medium-high heat or so, and it's going to take about 10 minutes. We want the veggies to soften up, but we also want some color on them.
Sure.
So we're just
Do you think it
toss all this in
matters,
here.
like mushroom, if someone prefers what kind you use?
Oh, great question. No, so you could use anything. You could use shiitake, or those oyster mushrooms are really fun. Or if you just wanted to use just the white mushrooms, you can use any combination that you want. And also, if you had, some portobello caps that you didn't use, if you wanted to chop those up, you could definitely do that. So one trick when you are cooking mushrooms, if you season them at this point, if we put any salt on there, because mushrooms are so heavy in water anyway, it's going to pull all the moisture out. We're not going to get any color on them. So at this point, I'm not going to put any seasoning on. So we'll season them afterwards, because we want to have some of that color develop.
Yum. Okay, so a tidbit to keep in mind there. This is super easy, like Lucy said, only a handful of ingredients. So if you want to make something tonight, or maybe someone you know is having a shower, or baby, whatever, not feeling well, this is great to send to them as well. So when we come back with Lucy, we're going to talk about the new ad that just dropped today, the holidays, and everything in between that happened over the last month and a half. So Joe, more mushroom soup on the way.
Welcome back into the kitchen with Lucy from Greer's. We are working on a healthy recipe. A lot of people kicking off some New Year's resolutions. This may be a good way to start with that, and for the cold weather.
Yes, we are making a mushroom soup today, and we don't have that many ingredients. It's super easy, and we already
super easy.
Like I always say, I know everybody's like, she always says that, but I always like to bring things that are simple that people feel like they can do. So what we have already started with in this pot is 1.5 pounds of mushrooms. I used a combination of creminis and just white button mushrooms, but you could use whatever combination you want. And I just kind of halved them and then sliced them up thin. And then I have a small onion in here, and then a couple little stalks of celery. And I started with a couple of teaspoons or a tablespoon of olive oil. So I mentioned before, I have had it over high heat, and I did not season it at all, because as this was cooking, all of the moisture was coming out of all those vegetables. So if I added salt at the beginning, then we wouldn't have any of this pretty color on the mushrooms. It would just be, they would just be kind of gray. So when you're cooking mushrooms, that's kind of a tip. If you want color on them, then don't put any salt on them at the beginning. So right now, this has been about 10 or 12 minutes, so you can see everything's soft and we have pretty color. So now I'm going to go ahead and add some seasonings. So we have a teaspoon of salt here, and I have 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So I'm just going to throw this in there and let those spices wake up.
And while you do that, you know, a lot of people have been reflecting on 2021, looking forward to 2022. 2021 was a massive year for Greer. So much going on.
It was. We, of course, since COVID broke, the grocery industry has been wild. So we've been so blessed to keep so many of our team members and, keep everybody safe and our customers and our communities, you know, be there for them. And then, yeah, we opened our new store. So if you haven't had, Claude here at Fox 10 just came in before the show and told me that he visited our new store on St. Louis Street. So if you haven't had a chance, and he really liked it, and he's a food person.
Yeah.
So he said he was able to find everything he needed. So I was glad to hear that. And we are kind of geared up for Mardi Gras down there.
Oh,
we're getting excited because it's, you know, we have a couple of stores in downtown Mobile already, but this one is even further downtown on St. Louis and Jackson. So if you haven't been there yet, we would love for you to come visit us. Or you can wait until Mardi Gras. We are getting ready, you know, planning all of our king cakes and just all of our activities. Our rooftop is kind of in high demand. And
yes, I bet.
so we have had a big year, and it's been fun. So looking forward to another year.
Big year in 2021. Big things to come in 2022 as well. We're going to continue to work on this mushroom soup. As she has, what is it, chicken broth?
Yes. So I took 2 cups out. This is a 6-cup container, so we just need 4. So I'm putting 4 cups in here.
Sounds good. We'll be back to finish it up with Lucy from Greer's. Chelsea.
Welcome back to Studio 10. I'm just pressing buttons over here. We are with Lucy Greer live on this Wednesday, January 5th, and it's cold. It's been cold this week, so you're making mushroom soup.
Yes, we are already done. This was a not many ingredient soup, and we are at our final stages here. So we use a combination of button and cremini mushrooms, and we just cooked it down with a little bit of onion and celery, and then we used some chicken broth and spiced it up with a little bit of garlic powder, salt and pepper, and some dried thyme. And that's it at this point.
Wow.
So at this point you have really a lot of options on what you want to do. You can, depending on the consistency you want. So you can put all of this in a blender, blend it up until it's perfectly smooth. You can do what I'm doing, just put your immersion blender in here and just let it go to whatever consistency you want. If you want to leave, you know, a little bit of texture in there, or you could take half of the soup and put it in a blender, puree some of it, and then leave the other, you know, with the bits of mushroom and vegetables. So it's totally up to you. So however you want to do it. And then the last thing that we're going to do, so you see I just have a little bit of smooth texture, but we still have a lot of our mushrooms and vegetables in there.
Yeah.
And the last thing we're going to do is I still have it on the heat. I am going to add in a cup of evaporated milk, and now we're just going to stir this until it's heated through. And if you have some options here too, of course. So this is just regular evaporated milk. You can get fat-free or 1%, or you could add in a little bit of cream or half and half at this point. I just liked using the evaporated milk because it's a little bit thicker than just like using like a whole milk or something like that.
Right.
But you could use whatever you wanted, or you know, you don't even have to add any milk at all. So you have a lot of options, but now it is ready to go.
Yeah.
So it smells so good.
Do you guys in your family, do you eat this with anything? You know, like tomato soup, how you have your grilled cheese, or do y'all eat anything with this one?
Good question. We are like big cracker people. Like my mom, oh my gosh, my grandmother Posey, my mom's mom lives with my mom and dad, and they go through like oysterette crackers and the little like mini saltines that are like squares now. I forgot what those are called, but when they eat soup, so I guess I got that from them. So I'm just a cracker person in soup.
Yeah, you can't go
wrong. But you can do
wrong.
whatever. I mean, like a cheese, like a cheesy garlic bread would be really good with this, or really a grilled cheese would be awesome with this too.
Yeah, so all the options. We were just saying earlier, this is a great recipe to take to a family member or a friend. You're actually doing that today.
Yes.
So something easy to put in a crock pot or put in a Ziploc and take it.
Yes, so it is really easy, and if you have anybody that's weird on texture, then this is a good option too, because you could puree it all the way, and then they wouldn't eat. Oh, warning, if you do puree it all the way, it you know, is going to be like kind of grayish, but it still tastes delicious.
It's just like the gray stuff off of Beauty and the Beast, right?
Yeah.
Well, it looks great. We're going to have more details and another yummy recipe next week with Lucy Greer. Lucy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joe.
All right, mushroom soup, Lucy from Greer's. You can find the recipe on the Studio 10 tab if you want a better start to 2022.